Hola, everybody. It's Tuesday night. Little Spanish twist. There's a reason for it. Hope everybody had a good week. You want to say hi to everybody in the chat?
Everybody.
Who's in the chat?
I don't know.
You have your glasses on?
No.
You can't see it. Lucy's in the chat. She says, good evening, Mr. G and Yoda and everybody. Jane's in the chat. We got, if you're in the chat and you're watching the video, I got 9 people watching this. Go ahead and say hey so we know you're there. All right? Well, there's a reason why we're speaking a little bit of Spanish lingo tonight.
Taco Tuesday?
No, because you've been making what?
Tamales.
Why have you been making how long have you been making tamales?
2 weeks.
Yeah, basically 2 weeks.
And I got 2 more weeks.
All right.
Because y'all eat me out of house and home every time we get to Tennessee.
There's Can't Squatch and Tiger in the house. Gregory Kissel's in the house. Yeah, I would turn it around and show you the kitchen, but it's kind of embarrassing. It is so messy and so
pots everywhere.
Yeah,
there's tamale sauce everywhere.
Yeah,
chili sauce.
Grateful hearts with the pink wavy hand. Roses in the house. I hope everybody had a good week. I mean, this is the first live since last week, and everything that went on, and I hope that everybody's processing everything that's happened over the last 5 or 6 days. And I hope you're making it through. Hope you're not letting it get you down. All right. Ken Corso's in the house. Kane's here. Let's see. There it is.
Be a tiger. Hit it like a top. Hit it.
Beat it like a red-headed liberal. Oh, did I say that? Am I allowed to say that?
No.
Okay. Now let's see. Where are we? Who else anybody else get in here? Yeah, Tiger says it was a rough week.
Yeah, really rough week.
So
sad.
Guys.
I think what shocked me the most about the week. I'm sorry, I can't cut.
Go ahead.
I think what shocked me about the week were responses from people about how they thought what happened to Charlie Kirk was funny. Super sad.
Well, that's where we are. That's where we are.
And now they went all over social media and posted a bunch of stuff. And now they're all crying, the same people who thought it was funny, because they've lost their jobs.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that later on. But the first part of it is, if you're new here, if you're one of our new subscribers, thank you for joining us. The first part of our lives are homestead updates. What's going on around the homestead?
I was like thinking literally, like first part of our lives. What are we doing? Sorry, like blonde moment right there.
So we're getting ready for Self-Reliance Festival. We're still dealing with the repercussions from the wreck because we don't have a trailer. Had we not had to buy that dumb car and get a car payment for the first time in 20 years, we'd be able to have a trailer. We'd have a trailer. But the simple fact is that we had to get it, or else somebody wasn't going to be able to get around.
Want Mama to bring home the bacon, then Mama's going to have a vehicle to go get the bacon.
We're dealing with that, and so we're going to. Looks like we're going to rent a
U-Haul.
A U-Haul. I was making sure the dog's dinner was turned off. I didn't want it to burn. So I have to rent a U-Haul. So, and it's not going to be as big as the old trailer. So we're dealing with that, and she's getting ready. This is the first time since October that we've done anything festival related as far as vending and cooking and stuff. So we're gonna have to really get on it, and I want to streamline everything. So I'm gonna start working.
I know what the people want. I know what I sell. I know what they want.
Yeah, but we can streamline the vendor tent.
Oh yeah,
and what we're taking, how we load it, and everything.
Yeah.
So
that bacon.
No Quarter says bacon better be applewood smoked. Just saying.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we're getting ready for that. Got to clean out the truck. I was going to do that today, but ended up making my dinner and taking care of dogs, and I was like, I'm just going to put the animals out on pasture. That's another thing. We've got a predator. We got 2 predators. So last week we lost a chick, one of the adolescents, to a hawk. Actually, the ducks actually chased the hawk off after it killed the animal. And today I saw the hawk, and it was flying away, but it didn't have anything in its mouth. And I was like, that thing got a chicken. And so I went over there and I saw a big pile of feathers. There was no chicken there. So that tells me that something else, a bigger predator, got the chicken, and the hawk was just looking for scraps. So I got 2 predators out there, and if you're homesteading, guys, this is one of the things you gotta take in consideration. If you're gonna free range your animals like we do, you're gonna run into predator. You're gonna have predator problems. I mean, you can't keep the animal once you let them out of the pen in the morning. You cannot corral them because they'll go to the 4 directions and every which way the wind blows.
But the beauty of owning acreage and doing that is that we also have predator solutions that a lot of other people don't have. So there's that.
But you got to catch them in the process.
Got to catch them in the process.
Yeah. So getting fencing up will take care of a little bit of that problem because it'll curtail where the chickens go. It'll make it harder for them to get down where the predators actually are. Sounds like some nighttime ops.
Thing is, they're coming out during the day.
Yeah, they're doing it during the day. The hawk got that chicken last week at 6:30, and the pile of feathers, I don't remember seeing it when I got home because I usually do a quick survey of the area to see what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I swear I thought I heard a fox the other night too.
Well, you were saying that you thought you heard.
Yeah.
Let's see. Corda says, I got the truck bed cleaned out, fresh bed liner ordered, and 2 swing out compartments installed. There you go.
Sweet.
Yeah, I got to clean the truck.
Coming to Tennessee?
Huh?
Yeah, you got to clean the truck because we got people.
I got to clean the truck.
Yeah. We got people.
It's messy. I haven't cleaned it since we got it.
You got to do it.
And it was a farm truck before we got it. The kid cleaned it out, but he didn't do much. Hey, Jody, how's it going?
Hey.
Glad you could make it. Haven't seen you in a while. Anti showed up. He says, what does he say? Freshly harvested duck stuffed with split fire orange chicken backstrap, wrapped in real bacon, and the dogs and cats all better behave. Absolutely. That sounds delicious. I did some canning this week.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and picked a 5-gallon bucket full of pears and did that last week. And Saturday, decided I was gonna take care of them. So I juiced them during the day, and we had a community meeting in the evening. And I came back. I was up till about 1 o'clock. I was so tired.
He was so tired. I'm like, now you know why. Because I got home Saturday night and it was burning up in here. He had the stoves going and everything else. I'm like, what are you doing? No AC on, no nothing. And he's standing over the stove soaking wet. And I'm like, no, this is not happening. Stop what you're doing. Turn the AC on, cool the house down. We'll get to canning. And I told him he finally got to experience why I can at night and not during the day, unless it's wintertime, then I can during the day. But this is why I don't can during the day in the summer.
But I picked a 5-gallon bucket of pears and I juiced it, which gave me 9 quarts, right? 9 quarts.
Yeah.
9 quarts of
pear.
Not juice. It wasn't juice because it still had
meat.
Had the
meat.
Had the meat in it,
mm-hmm.
the fruit in it. And then added sugar and cinnamon and boiled it down to 7 quarts. So we got all that. And I got to tell you guys,
it's really good.
We're going to sell some of this at Self-Reliance Festival and then save some for Christmas because between the two of us, between us deciding what should go in it, and it's literally pears, sugar, and cinnamon. That's all that's in it. And
he was like, how much cinnamon should I add to it? And I'm like, I don't know, start with this and then taste it, see what you think. And then if we need to do more, we'll do more.
I just did that. And I'm telling you what, you guys ever had, well, you know what? I looked it up. No quarter. So it was supposed to be pear jam, but she thinks I didn't put enough sugar in it to get it to thicken up because it's.
No, I just don't think it boiled down enough.
Well, that
like I could still get it to thicken if I wanted to stand over the stove, but the people want tamales.
Right.
So I can do one or the other. I can't do both.
So yeah, it was supposed to be pear jam or pear butter. It's more runny. It's still spreadable. You can still eat it on a sandwich.
Oh my gosh, this would be excellent on a pork loin.
That's the other thing.
Pork
using
chop.
It as a glaze.
Oh yes.
Hey, local prepper, what's up?
LP.
I gotta say something, local prepper. I owe somebody that was on one of your lives in the comment section, I owe them an apology because they said something and I contradicted / corrected them, and I started thinking about it, and it was regarding the assassin and how he should be charged. But he was absolutely right. I can't even remember who it was, but he was absolutely right. So I owe somebody on your live
what did you do? That's
well,
what
I
I'm
just-
saying.
I-
Like,
I
what
con-
did you do?
I contradicted him and I corrected him, and I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? In a roundabout way, he is absolutely 100% right, and I was partially right, but I was not completely right.
Now that people want to know, like, what was said.
Well, he said that the assassin should be charged for violating Charlie Kirk's First Amendment rights,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, no, that seems like an abuse of the Constitution, and he should be charged with terrorism because he used a threat or violent to influence politics or to influence people, and that under terrorism, that's a classic definition of terrorism. And I started thinking about it, and he did violate his First Amendment rights because Charlie Kirk was in a public square. He was in the public square speaking, and that person, due to leftist ideology, decided that Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be in the public square.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, when he pulled that trigger and assassinated Charlie Kirk, he was denying him his First Amendment rights. So, and they didn't charge him with it. They charged the guy today, and they charged him with intentional murder or something like that. It's a higher level of
like
murder charge.
Second or first degree murder.
Yeah.
And
well, actually, it's the way it's written. It's higher than first degree murder.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The way it's written.
So, but
yeah, it's a little bit of a Occam's razor there. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
To fine line to walk. But so yeah, I felt bad because I did it publicly, and I really wish I could remember who it was, so I could next time I see him, I could be like, hey, you guys need to write this down, by the way, because
he doesn't even apologize to me. So
bullshit. You won't hear me very often admit that I'm wrong. Let's just put it that way.
So, like, I'm really curious. So,
Tiger says aggravated murder. Is that what it?
Aggravated.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, like I heard some history on this guy.
Well, let's not talk about it. Let's wait. I don't want to talk about him because I don't want to put too much energy into him. You'll never hear me say the guy's name.
I think that this is kind of an example of what you were talking about. Remember, like, we needed to be discerning in things that were going on and be intentional because external things do affect what happens in a community. I'll be careful with it.
Don't spend a lot of energy on it.
Yeah, no, I won't.
People like that need to be thrown in the trash bin.
Yeah, no, but I think it brings home your point.
Okay,
if anybody is listening after what you said last week.
Okay.
So in our community, at our community meeting, you had made that point that in Friday night's panel, you had made that point. And so the thing is, I got a little history real quick. Ferguson was filling in for Mark Levin tonight. Okay. And so got a little history on his background. Do you know it took less than a year for that guy to go so radical that he was able to do something like this and feel like it was okay? Mm-hmm. That is how fast this happens.
Yep.
So if you think that somebody is off, you better pay attention to it. You better pay attention to it quick because it'll infiltrate a community faster than not.
Yep, absolutely.
So, right, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and so okay, and since we're talking about it, and building community is a key component into the lifestyle that we're trying to lead and everything. So, politics is not a protected class, and the reason why it's not a protected class is because it's mutable. Your politics can change. Mm-hmm. Can't change your skin color. This is going to blow. This is going to cause some heads to pop for liberals that run across this. Can't change your gender. You're one of two genders, right? Those are immutable. You cannot change those. That's why politics are not considered protected classes, and as such, you can actively keep people from moving into your community based on that fact. That's one of these things. if you've got a real estate agent that's helping you build your community, that's something you need to look out for, and have them steer people that are not like-minded away from your community, because it will cause more problems than it's worth.
I know somebody that used to do that.
Yes, so do I. I know somebody too. That's where I got the idea that you can protect your community preemptively.
Oh, you're a flaming liberal. Let's put you up in North Kansas City.
Yeah. So that's where that comes from for me. I said it on the panel. If you guys don't know what she's talking about, the panel, Tag It Life Done Free had a live panel Friday night instead of his regular update thing. And it was 5 of us from the community, and it was just an open discussion. You know, he threw some questions out, and we discussed it openly. A lot of ground was covered. It took over 2 hours. I was kind of tired when it was done. My mind was starting to go, but we covered a lot of really good ground. One of the things that I don't think that I iterated well enough, and I didn't push it well enough, is I believe that what we're facing after Wednesday, when it happened, Wednesday, after last Wednesday, is we are facing an existential threat. If you are a conservative or you are a patriot, you are in danger, period. And the ideology is what killed Charlie Kirk, not the gunman. The ideology is an ideology that ends bloodlines. History is littered with the bodies of people to attest to that fact, right? And to think that America is immune to that is just whistling past the graveyard. Seriously, you're fooling yourself at your own risk. You know, and this is why. In fact, I'm going to do a video. I feel like I need to explain to people why a homesteading channel talks so much about politics and social issues and everything.
Because they're trying to control us and stop us.
Because it does. It affects everything that we do around here on a daily basis. You know, the liberal policies coming out of Topeka affects the way we can do our farm.
Yeah.
You know, if we want to sell things at a farmer's market here in Kansas, we have to have the government come in and certify our greenhouse.
Yep.
You know, and that shouldn't be like that.
And if we want to sell meat, then it has to go to USDA certified in order to do it. And now we've gotten around that. And so nothing they can do about it, you know, because reservation is different. But, you know, we I don't know, they want us to do things and vaccinate a certain way, and we refuse to do it. We're not going to. So, did you see No Quarters? No Quarters said, "You don't ever apologize to me because then you never get any work done because you have to be apologizing all the time."
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Bonnie Blue says the Democrats have an assault culture that MSN is promoting. Satan controls the airwaves.
Yeah. So I've been hearing a lot of that lately. It's like evil has always been. You know, you've been seeing it coming and coming and coming. You knew that this is a war between good and evil, and now it's just like the devil doesn't care, and it's just showing its ugly face, and it's tearing a lot of people apart. Hacks, if you didn't see my text, let's set up Friday for putting those hoses on, because it's supposed to rain tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, and is it really? The chance is good. They're talking 20% chance tonight of rain and stuff. 20% is nothing. But yeah. So if you got Friday morning, I'll be up there bright and early to take care of it. I already got the okay to take time off. Oh yeah. Still having to drive up 45 minutes to get the feed instead of 15 minutes. But you'll be right there. Yeah, You'll be right there. I'll be right there to where I got to get the food. The grain mill's down. Yeah, the grain mill at the silos that we go to, at the co-op we go to, is being replaced. Yeah, Bonnie says KC is under severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Yeah, they're talking like 60-mile-an-hour winds and all kinds of goofy stuff. So I'm just like, meh. So I told Garen, like, I'll just watch TV and roll out tamales. Hopefully you'll watch TV if it's storming like that. The
airways probably won't work.
That's true too. I'll just roll out tamales.
Gregory says it's raining up there.
Yeah, well, that means head down here, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's what they're talking about. They're saying we're supposed to get some of that.
So we had a community meeting Saturday night, and we covered. They formed some committees and they gave a report. But they've got a sovereignty committee, a security committee, and a sustainability committee. And so they gave the report, and then the topic turned to the industrial solar that's going on here. And the county commissioners are pushing for that to get the regulation changes to get pushed as quickly as possible. So on the 20th,
because they have panels getting ready to expire.
On the 25th, they are going to try to push this through. So as a community, we're getting together, we're trying to educate people and get as many people there as possible to speak out against it. And it's really kind of,
and we're going to be protesting too. So if y'all want to save up some money and pull together, come bail us out of jail. That's probably what's
we're not
going
going to, nothing's going to happen like that.
I don't know.
But
They're so weird.
The county made the rules for this meeting very interesting. So number one, they're not going to respond to any questions. You're not allowed to ask questions. Number two, the only thing that you can talk on is specific regulation changes. So they don't want people getting up there and giving an overarching, like, this is going to change the culture of the county, which it will, or the character of the county, which it will. They don't want you. They want you to speak specifically about a regulation that's going to change, a change that they're going to make.
I know, Quarter. You're right. Just say no to committees.
Well, okay. So
we say the same thing.
I hate meetings. I hate going to meetings. I don't care what military, companies, community, whatever. I hate going to meetings because 90% of the stuff that's talked about in meetings can be just as easily transferred. The knowledge can be just as easily transferred via email or some other form. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to sit there and listen to all this stuff. And there's always a lot of going back and forth that's completely unnecessary. With that said, I have no problem with committees being formed. As long as it's understood that anything that comes out of committee is just a suggestion. The committees are not meant to tell us what to do. They're, well, in this case, in the community sense, right?
It's a guideline.
Well, they can make suggestions. Mm-hmm. They can provide solutions, but
you do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, the committees don't say this is the way you're going to do it. This is what you have to do. All right. And
well, quite frankly, around this crowd, it's not going to work for everybody.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Not a lot of people are going to tolerate that.
Well, Cans, we're gonna be out there there's gonna be protest signs. I'm trying to talk some tribal members who are anti-industrial solar to come out in their regalia and to speak in front of the crowd in their regalia, dressed up in their native garb, and because that will have a lot of impact.
Mm-hmm. They're looking at 2 news stations being there out of Topeka, possibly
at least one, if not.
And then so we'll do that, and then we're making signs, and we will be protesting outside the courthouse and attend the meeting and protest after. We're gonna make them, all of those people are gonna have to do the walk of shame when they come out of there, and we're gonna make them do it.
Yeah, in this case, Cans, you're absolutely right, and the commissioners have already said that they're going to rubber stamp anything. Mm-hmm. Anything that's pro solar that comes out of there is going to get rubber stamped.
Yep.
And it's really kind of sad because I didn't find out until last week that that the NextEra, which is the company that's doing the solar project, actually handed the committee the regulation changes that they wanted made, and it just. It didn't happen recently. This happened a couple months ago from talking with the person that reports on that stuff. It's kind of sad that we've got private entities dictating changes for our county, right? And they can't understand why people are upset,
right?
And I have, as a result of this, I learned way more about industrial solar than I thought I would ever learn.
if I ever want to know.
Well, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this flat out. If they want to put industrial solar in near where you live, you need to fight that tooth and nail. You know, and I found out today.
The fact is, we're going to have towns. We're going to have towns underwater over this. 2 inches of water will flood them out.
You know, and I talked to Hitch today, and I didn't realize this, but the company that owns NextEra,
yeah,
is the company that runs Exxon.
Yeah.
You know, I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I pulled up as a result. I pulled up the regulation changes and stuff. Oh my God, that is so dry. That is so dry and so boring. I'm going to have to talk to somebody and say, okay, point me in the right direction, because I'm not going to be able to wade through this and find something to talk about.
Well, the thing is, the other thing that's bothersome is that they've gone through, we only need 12,000 acres to now all of a sudden they're, you know, it started at 2,000 and then 12,000 and then now, you know, some ungodly. And the thing is, all the farmers are going, you're going to do it anyway. So I'll just sell my land and I'll go. So, you know, y'all need to understand that, you know, one Kansas farmer feeds over 1 million people. And so where are you going to get that back? So if all of the farmland is gone and there's only trash, debris, and poison sitting on it because you can't grow nothing, how are you going to eat?
So Miss Sachs says we need to find a way to overthrow the commissioners.
I think they need to be appealed. I think we need to get them removed.
I'm getting the impression that their days are numbered, and some of them are starting to get to clue into that, because everybody I talk to, people that normally aren't political, are saying things unsolicited.
Yeah. And
I think that they have finally overstepped their bounds. You know, and then the funny thing is, so they've got 2 openings on the planning committee for zoning.
A lot of people applied for it, including you.
They're not going to fill them until after the solar vote, because they know that a lot of people
that applied for it are against it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I find that interesting, but that's okay, because the next fight that they want to do it right after they push the solar thing through. Whenever people are upset, they want to have this fight. They're proposing a change to breaking up parcels. So the smallest parcel you can sell is 20 acres, right? Whenever you subdivide your land, 20 acres is the smallest you can do. They want to break it down to 3 acres because they got a bunch of developers out of Topeka that want to come up here and build multi-unit housing in the county.
What did she say?
No,
go up above that, above Bonnie Blue. What is that?
Grateful Hearts.
Yeah, what did she say? Feed the changes into chat
GPT. I did that. I used it, and it found it, and it's a lot more convoluted than that. And so I got to figure out how to ask the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gave me some good info. It showed me, it gave me a general overview of the changes, but in order to speak on the 25th, you have to speak directly to a specific amendment.
Yeah.
Which is a lot more detailed.
Yeah. So Bonnie Blue's question too. You're absolutely right. And we do know what that says. And that has been a big argument. We've been fighting that for what, 1.5 years, 2 years now? So we do record the meetings and we put them on Facebook.
So in this case,
YouTube.
In this case, this is it.
We got a letter.
It's an open meeting. It's an open meeting. Therefore, sunshine laws are covered. All right. They aren't answering questions because of time limitations. In fact, they added an extra hour. Usually it's 1.5 hours, but they added an extra hour to it because they expect so many people there talking.
And you actually applied for the information to get the information from closed meetings, open meetings, all of that. And basically we were told, I mean, I'll just put it in layman terms, shut up. It's attorney-client privilege and we don't have to tell you and we're not gonna.
Yeah, it's basically what they said.
Yeah. So we have that in front of the state's attorney right now.
Half Bubble, what's up? Point the Solar Corp as interlopers that don't live in the community. Well,
that's true. And so
that has nothing to do with the regulation changes, though.
And I think there's a lot of pockets lined, to be honest with you.
No,
and I'm seeing this clear down south. So I went and saw the kids this weekend, and so we had Grandparents' Day on Friday. And so when I went and saw the kids, I could not believe Crawford County. There were several counties on the way back home. All of them are going through the same thing we're going through, fighting this right now.
Just do me a favor as far as the people taking money.
I said I have a feeling.
There is no proof of that. So
just have a feeling.
Just be careful. It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me.
All I said is I have a feeling. Is it against the law to have a feeling?
If you're
got a feeling.
Throwing that out there.
Yeah, I got a feeling.
Callaway County Mo Fulton is getting wallpapered with industrial solar. It's so sad. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And guys, if you've never dealt with this before, here's what I found. And you can go look this up. It's out there. So number one, these big solar farms, lots of hazardous material. Lots of, the panels themselves, the batteries. If they don't have a mitigation program for end of life, all that stuff gets left on site, and the people that live in that area are responsible for cleaning it up. And a lot of that stuff, I mean, there's a couple places out in California that have become Superfund sites because they just closed up shop and left everything there.
Isn't there one in Florida too, I believe?
I don't know.
I think the hurricane took it out. And then I think there's some more, one in New Mexico or something like that in Arizona.
But these solar farms, when they catch fire, you're dealing with batteries. And I was talking with the fire department guys over on the reservation yesterday, and there's nothing they can do. There's absolutely nothing they can do. It when it starts up, they just sit back and watch it burn. Well, all that toxic smoke, if it happens over on the other, because it's going to go right up the west side of the reservation. If that happens, all that toxic smoke is going to come right over our property. Right? If a tornado hits that area, it's going to take all that debris and it's going to spread it all over the reservation, all the way over onto our property. So look into it. And you talk about ground compaction. Whenever they build these farms, they compact the ground and they get rid of a lot of natural vegetation. And they do environmental studies, and there's some discussion about this.
That's a mess.
This instance where they haven't done them properly.
And the thing is, legally, they don't have to until it's approved and they start working on it. And that to me is ridiculous. That needs to be changed. And isn't that a federal guideline?
Well,
I believe that's the federal regulation.
Let's see. Then Mrs. X says, then all the debris should be put on a commissioner's personal property who voted for it. You know what? That's a good idea. We'll probably get arrested for vandalism. And that's something we need to talk about too, guys. But anyway, so it doesn't just affect the area where they're building this stuff. It can affect the whole. They were talking about microclimates. I knew about this tangentially, but I didn't do a lot of research on it. But these big solar farms, they heat the air up and they create microclimates that will literally disrupt weather patterns over the area where they are.
Food deserts basically is what they end up creating. And so cities have food deserts. We're not out in the country. We're not considered food desert necessarily. But yeah, no, it'll create food deserts, lack of rain, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's all kinds of problems with it.
Yeah. That Bubble says, I now have strip malls, donut shops, coffee shops, and Toll Expressway that is less than a mile away.
That's great. I don't want that. Yeah. But here's the thing. They're going to drive property value so down so bad that nobody's going to want to stay here.
Right.
Like, our property will be worth nothing.
Well, and that's one of the things. You guys give me your opinion on this. So I was looking through the articles of what the planning committee was for, and one of the items that it's supposed to do is it's supposed to keep property values up. Well, it's been proven time and time again that whenever you build something like this, it drives property values down, and that's what they're counting on, because what they'll do is they'll cause all the neighbors to want to sell, and to get that land, they slotted, it's going to be ultimately like 12,000 acres. But to get that land, they'll just go into these people that have lost half the value of their farms and say, "Here, we'll pay you
buy
what,
you out.
we'll pay you what, we'll pay you the full amount, and we'll just buy it from you."
Yeah, so it's pretty bad. And like, so Gregory was asking why solar farms and not windmills. Well, that's interesting. We already have windmills, and so we've got that up north. When you go 75 north towards Nebraska, we've got that. Was that right around Highway 24 over by Kickapoo? And so we already have that out on the west side. And so it's a flipping nightmare, and it looks terrible.
And we're
you
fighting
have the same issues. We're fighting on that too.
People up in Brown County are fighting the expansion into their county on that.
And so they're trying to merge the two. And so this energy, none of this energy that is being stored and created in Kansas, none of it is for Kansas. Kansas exports energy. None of it is for Kansas. And so we're going to ruin our farmland over that so that we can ship out energy. Stupid. Just stupid.
Well, and here's something to remember that we need to make this perfectly clear. We're not anti-solar. We're not anti-wind. What we are is anti-industrial solar and anti-industrial wind, because it's a matter of scale. You know, your little solar array that you have on your property is not going to affect your neighbors. All right.
Do you remember those numbers?
No.
On 12,000 acres of land? It's some ungodly number. On the low end, I believe it was like 7 or 8 million solar panels. And then at 1 acre would be like, I think for each 1 acre, it was some ungodly number of solar panels. Now that's if they're back to back, no spaces in there. And
which makes that number completely nonsensical.
Yeah, but it's still an ungodly number, which is why a friend of ours, that's why he broke it down into, I believe, a third or a quarter of what the actual number that came up.
Yes, so, Bonnie Blue, in making these rules changes, they're rezoning from agricultural to industrial. And here's the thing about that is I've never heard of farmland that's been rezoned into industrial being taken back to farmland. So this farmland
can't be done.
Is out of production, right? And let's see. Bonnie says, interesting article in Cowboy State Daily today on the negative effects of wind farms on earthworms causing erosion.
Right.
Absolutely. The vibrations from the windmills will drive all the earthworms off.
So something else that you guys maybe not know, and if you have a chance, go out to 30 by 30 land grab and do some education on the Rainbow Expressway and all the dragon veins that are going north and south. Rainbow Expressway goes east and west. We've talked about this before. Interesting fact on that, when they get all these solar panels and all of that, they're talking, and they can come in and actually grab our land and say, hey, and we have water rights to the river. And so, they can say, hey, we're taking this, cut everything down, put their battery banks up there, use the water out of the river because they need that water in order to keep the lithium. The lithium batteries take a lot of water. And so which is very interesting to me in that fact too, because we already have Banner Creek was low. The reservoir was low last year. It's probably a little low this year because there's no way we could have recovered from that drought so fast. And then there's just a lot of factors to this that don't make sense. And it amazes me that there are industrial companies that have come in. We had a very large milk manufacturer that wanted to come in and put the dairy farm in up in Holton, and they couldn't do it because there was no way to support their water supply. So if there's no way to support their water supply, then how do we have a way to support the water supply that these lithium batteries are going to take in order to store that energy?
Well,
it just doesn't make sense.
Well, and the whole reason why they're doing it here is because it's flyover country, and they know that they know that people here will take the money because they don't understand the repercussions, and it's let's face it, rural America is still slowly dying. It's losing capital, it's losing people, and these companies take advantage of it, and they make it sound like this solar project is going to create all these jobs for the county. Yeah, temporarily it might, some heavy equipment operators and some day laborers may get jobs here, but as soon as the project's done, they're gone.
Do you know what? And perhaps that I can throw this out there. So, okay. So on one hand, it creates jobs, but these are jobs for the county, which means the taxpayers are paying for the project. And so our taxes go up.
That's not, that's not right.
You want to do some research on that? Because
the one thing that as far as taxing goes and the county paying for it, the end of life remittance fund, the county is going to put $50 million into it from my understanding.
But there's not a plan.
Basically the county taxpayers are going to be stuck with end of life stuff, no matter how they put it out there.
And the odd part is that in the paper it was printed out. You guys can go to the Holton Examiner. It was a few weeks ago. There was a whole article that was printed out in there, published, and it was one of the reasons why they're pushing it through so fast is because the thousands and thousands of solar panels that they already have in a warehouse are getting ready to expire. We're already at the end of life. So there be that.
So there it is. That's basically us 15-20 minutes of us railing against industrial solar. My chances of getting on the planning committee are probably nil at this point.
I don't know. I think you might be running for a commissioner seat here in a year or two.
The hell I will.
I think you should.
If I'm not going to be on one of our community committees, what makes you think I'm going to go do that job?
I just think that you would do great at it. You have a way of not really yelling, but keeping people in line and focused and that kind of thing. I think you'd be great at it. I do think you'd be great at it. That is an FU job. Yeah. That is a job where my response will on a regular basis be FU. You idiot. Some of the commissioners already talked to Farmer Matt like that, so I don't know what the difference would be between you or them, except for you at least have a level head at some point.
That's not. Angela, you're right. I would become a raging alcoholic and I would be angry all the time.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah. See, shut that conversation down, didn't I, guys?
Anyway.
And like I said, we're not anti-solar. In fact, we need to get our solar system up and running. And I need to get
our solar system is manageable.
I need to get a smaller system for the chicken coop, one that'll run the Producer's Pride heat, the heat panels. Yeah. Because I don't want to run heat lamps out there. I want something that is won't cause a fire. Yeah, won't cause a fire. Won't burn our chicken coop down again.
Done learned that one already. Don't want to do it again.
The Grandparents' Day. So I went down Wednesday.
Yeah.
I went down Wednesday for Little Bit's Grandparents' Day, and it was fun. He is 3 years old now, going to be 4 next spring. And we had a very good time.
He's so sweet.
Yeah, he is. He's a doll, and he just loved all the teachers. And we had to wait for Dad to come pick him up because I didn't have the car seat. So we spent an hour out in the playground playing, and it was very interesting because the kids that were waiting for their parents, they never get to see parents, right? There's never an adult out there with them other than the teachers. So as Little Bit and I were playing, we had this whole entourage of little kids with us that wanted to play with us, which was fine. I didn't have a problem with it,
Yeah, it was sad. So I went to Eliza's on Friday, and so Lizzie Q, it was super sad. There were 2 kids at her table that didn't have grandparents show up. But I say that it was sad. It's heartbreaking. But the nice thing is, and what I heard, and Garen was actually kind of surprised by this, and so was Ian and our son. And so one of the things the teachers were saying as we were walking in, they have never ever had this amount of turnout for Grandparents' Day. And I can appreciate that, because I think, we are the generation that we were there for our kids and making sure we were at school and making sure we were involved. And I'm glad that a lot of us didn't change that and we're there for our grandkids. So I just think that was super cool.
Well, this was the first year that they weren't at the same school.
That's why we split up.
That's why we had to split up.
Well, they were different days.
And it was kind of weird because I was driving down there, and a part of me, I wanted to go down, do it, and then come home. Right? I just wanted to do that because I needed to be here to do stuff, take care of the animals, and all that stuff. And I had to force myself to spend the night, and I'm glad I did. Mm-hmm. Other than the fact that my son and his wife's couch is probably the most uncomfortable piece of furniture to sleep on in the entire world. Other than that, I had a really good time.
So I got the air mattress. The air mattress was set up. So I got the air mattress.
Well,
but then I got kids with me too. So it was a massive slumber party. It was Friday night. They didn't have school the next day. And so it was a massive sleepover. And we watched movies, and oh my gosh. Oh, that girl. She wants to be a cowgirl. So she manipulated me like they're nobody's business. We went to Cavender's and got her a cowboy hat and then a nice dress and, shirt to go underneath it. Got her a romper. Oh, she just loved that thing. And so we got her all set up and brought her home. So I think we're going to end up getting her the cowboy boots. I didn't do just because I'm kind of hesitant for right now. But we'll see where she's at Christmas. And then if she decides, yep, she's still into this and doing all that, then we'll do the cowboy boots. But she was so cute. She was running around with the hole puncher. I was calling her Annie Oakley, and she was running around trying to shoot her brother and round him up because he was a bad guy. So it was just super cute, but I liked it. So we ended up watching Westerns all Friday night. So, well, till she passed out anyway. But anyways,
the only downside to that trip really was the fact that I ate like crap for 2 whole days.
It is hard to eat healthy down there. I would admit that.
Boots are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
They outgrow them in 3 months. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, Christmas, that would be one thing. I'm just hesitant to because like literally I would buy her boots and then at Christmas have to buy her new boots. So why not just get her one great Christmas gift?
Or your wife buys your son $120 Justins, and the Great Dane puppy uses them as a chew toy.
Yeah, there's that.
I could have killed that dog. And then shortly after that, the dog taught us that furniture is made out of 2x4s.
Right.
Because he chewed a hole through the love seat.
Right. Yeah.
He was a good dog, though. He was a good dog.
But it'd be nice for her grandpa to have some good work boots when she comes up here. So
yeah,
we'll make it happen. It'll just be at Christmas. So
yeah. Speaking of working, we getting the side-by-side. Hack's got the side-by-side running for the first time in 2 years. He's got some more tweaks to do on it, so we'll have that back, and we can start using it to haul wood around. And then my next thing is to figure out how to fix the skid loader.
So he went down on Wednesday and the kids started, it was Addie. He started acting up a little bit. And so, Grandpa told him, hey, you're not listening to Mom and Dad. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. And that means you don't get to ride the tractor, the side-by-side, or the four-wheelers, because I can't trust you to be responsible and listen to directions when you're on the equipment. And so he said that actually went pretty well. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see. And you would think because he's going to be 4, and you would think that would have just went in one ear and out the other. Those were totally different kids that I got on Friday. And so all they talked about is coming up and riding equipment and helping out and, doing whatever they needed to do. And they're still kids, but they were really good.
They got, both of them got their butts chewed by Grandpa, which is they did not enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I was nice about it. I didn't treat them like they were little Marines. I was nice about it.
Yeah. No, they totally got it. And so I was really happy about it. But I just feel bad because like now we're not there. So they're probably hellions down there right now.
Probably.
But if our kids learned anything, if our son and daughter-in-law learned anything, they know that at least they can use that as a threat. We're not going to go to grandma and grandpa's and you're not riding equipment, or, we'll go to grandma and grandpa's and you're going to sit and not get on the equipment.
But Bonnie says crate training your dog is a favor you do to your wallet.
Right.
Well, this was a Great Dane puppy, and
there was no crate big enough.
At 4 months, he weighed 90 pounds.
Yeah.
He was a
beast.
He was a big dog. When he was at his healthiest, he weighed what, 160? The doctor said.
I don't
the vet
think
said
he was that big, but the 135, maybe 140, somewhere in there. Like he was huge.
These are the first dogs we've ever owned. Well, Gizmo doesn't count. But like that
are small.
Like Manny, when he was in his prime, he weighed 120 pounds, which for a great for a German Shepherd is a big dog. And he was a healthy 120.
Yeah, the vet was like, so I had to take him to the vet one time, and the vet was like, "Oh my gosh," and like he was just massive, and his paws and everything. And I'm like, "Well, is he overweight?" And vet was like, "No, he's just a big boy."
Well, and we had 2 Great Danes. What was the Harlequin's name? The one we got as a rescue. So we got. I
want to say Buddy, but I think that was mom and dad's.
No, that was ours. Buddy. Anyway, so the first Great Dane we got was a rescue, and he was underweight when we got him, and he ate and he got really healthy. Mm-hmm. He was a good looking boy. And then the second Great Dane we got, Russell, he was just a moose. He was like a horse. I've told the story before how the animal control officer in the town we lived in could not fit him into the truck. So he would just put a lead around his neck and drive him home. Yeah. Walking outside the thing.
Yep. Or bring him to the bank and tell me to do something with
Tiger says she has a huge crate that basically should just be called furniture. Our Make Pity, is that what it says?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Make Pity is topping 100 right now. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of real estate in the living room.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we got 2 crates in there now. It's not too bad. But yeah, between breeders and dog crates and everything else, it's just a mess.
Half Bubble's got a American Standard Pity that's 130 and a Gotti that's 105.
Wow.
I
had like a Bull Mastiff, I think. But that might be our new dog. Why not?
No.
Why?
I do not want any animal that we can put a saddle on. So when I was in the Marine Corps down in Yuma, Arizona, or no, was it Camp Lejeune? Anyway, one of the guys that I hung around with had a Bull Mastiff, and it played fetch with a 10-pound bowling ball. They would literally bowl this ball down the street. The dog would go grab it and get it in its mouth and bring it back. Mm-hmm. And they actually bought a little toy saddle and used to put it on the dog's back. And
I wouldn't do that to
stick their 3-year-old.
I would not.
And he would ride him around
I wouldn't do that to that dog.
This group is shoveling some big piles. Yeah, right. But Russell used to. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things. That's one thing. So the dogs aren't on a full meat diet right now. They're getting rice. And it's one thing I miss about the all meat is because it makes
it go away faster.
Yeah, it definitely makes it go away faster.
And bones. So
yeah,
no drilling dogs.
Russell, you'd be eating and Russell would be sitting there staring at you, and all of a sudden he'd start drooling.
And then he'd shake his head. It was disgusting. So, but
anyway. He was a good dog.
All right, baby. Well, it's almost 9:00. If you're going to go into politics, I'm going to go back to tamales.
Now, Vision Preparedness has miniature horses for a dog. I've known people that had them, and they're cool animals. Seriously, they're awesome animals, but they're horses.
You know what I think we need around here? No. Speaking of horses, no. Speaking of horses, we need to get some donkeys because we need to. That would help us with a lot of predators.
I need to spend a couple of $1,000s on fencing before we get donkeys.
Well, but I'm saying we need to think about that. We need to do that. So are you ready to get in? Are we done with update?
Yeah, I think we're done. We've been done for a while.
All right, well, you guys, I'm going to go back to tamales. It was good talking with all of you and good catching up. And
Like I
I
said,
don't know, we really caught up. I think we were just talking about things.
I would show you her rolling tamales, but I don't want you to see the kitchen.
You don't need to see the kitchen.
It's a disaster.
Nobody needs to see it. Just some things should be kept private.
Tigers getting donkeys eventually.
Yeah. They're supposed to be excellent security guards. Like
Susie's son had a Saint Bernard that stepped on her toe and broke it.
Right. Right.
I shouldn't be laughing. There's another dog that drools.
So the neighbor's got a Saint Bernard and they're having to take it out and get it used to the chickens, and they're walking it up and down the street and everything else.
That's a good looking dog.
It is a good looking dog. And I wouldn't mind one of those either.
No more long haired dogs.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you're going to do. Most guardian dogs are long haired dogs.
No, I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you. All right, guys. See ya.
We get a Pyrenees that doesn't turn into a house pet.
I mean, that would be nice too. It's normal dogs.
Yeah.
Maybe we just pick out normal dogs. None of these dogs are normal. Like, this is an issue. So anyway,
Manny was a good normal dog.
Manny was an issue.
But German Shepherds blow their coats just as bad as the Pyrenees. You know, we're always fighting these hair bunnies around here. Well, okay, let's get to the topic at hand. All right. So one of the things, talking with Tag after the live on Friday, he made the point, and I on reflection, I kind of agree with him. I said, people are healing right now. So what happened on Thursday, even the people that aren't political could see it for what it was, right? And so people are really, really upset about it, rightfully so. And then the responses, my whole point is that the ideology is what killed Charlie Kirk, not the gunman. And people that follow that ideology are just as dangerous as the gunmen themselves, right? Because the ideology is dangerous. And I said it before at the beginning. I'm not gonna rehash history or anything, and talk about why I feel the way I feel about Marxism and leftist ideology. But as a result, this is something that we need to be aware of, right? And the comment was made that you can't argue with the people that want to kill you, which is absolutely correct. But you can't let it slide. You cannot let the ideology slide. One of the biggest regrets that I've got is at the age of 31 that I was not as active as Charlie Kirk was, in fighting for what was right and engaging the left, and maybe had my generation done that, and a lot of you people are in the same generation as I am. Had we done that at age 31, we would not be looking at the problems we're looking at now, right? But it's never too late. It is never too late for us to get involved, right? Now here's the scary part, and this is where you have to become courageous. You cannot abdicate the public square anymore to these people. Whenever they start spouting their stuff in public, you should confront them. And when I say confront, I don't mean go up and get belligerent with them, but you should try to open a dialogue. And the scary part about that is the people that are violent don't wear that on their sleeve all the time. I mean, some people you can look at and go and think to yourself, yeah, this person is probably really unhinged, so I need to be very careful. But some of them look like some of them are your neighbor, right? So as a result of that, I'm going to start pushing people more and more and more. You guys need to be getting training. You need to be getting self-defense training, and that's dependent on your capabilities and your abilities, right? I'm not expecting a 65-year-old lady to go out and learn jiu-jitsu and try to take on a 200-pound neckbeard, right? Although in that case, the estrogen level is probably in favor of the old lady, so that might actually be a decent fight. But anyway, we need to, in all seriousness though, we need to become cognizant of what's going on around us and start being prepared to defend ourselves. Because if we allow if we allow them to take control of the public square and not let us speak, which is exactly what they're doing, then we're going to get rolled over time and time again, just like we have in the past. And that's one of the things, one of my great complaints or criticisms of the so-called leaders. Anybody that says, oh, violence is never an answer. And there's been a lot of them out there. There's been a lot of people after this that have said no violence, no violence, no violence. I'm going to disagree with that 100%. Violence is always an option. All right. It's not the answer to everything, but it should always be in your toolbox. And that's exactly what it is. It's a tool. Right. And it doesn't matter how you feel about it. If the other side feels that violence is the answer, you're going to have to deal with violence no matter what. So just do me a favor. Go get prepared. Learn how to recognize the dangers and act accordingly when it happens, but we have to be courageous about this. We cannot let them slide anymore. We let them slide for too long. Yeah. Lynn's absolutely right. When he says, less than 2% of the Russians were communists, the Bolsheviks, and they still won. Absolutely. Because they were able to motivate the masses and get them out in the street and get them fighting for their cause. Right. And even if I remember correctly, and somebody can look this up and fact check me on it, but the even during the Soviet Union time, when the Soviet Union was going, like only 14 to 15% of the population were members of the Communist Party, right? And so it doesn't take very many radicals to change the makeup and the direction of a country. Gregory says, I should rely more on my diamond willow walking stick for my bad knee. Absolutely. Oh, my bad hurt too. I bet that would hurt bad. What did the preacher say in the Clint Eastwood movie? There's nothing like a good piece of hickory. Bonnie says, I'm CCW for 20 years, not enough. Got a personal protection dog for the visual deterrence in public places. Oh, Malinois. I don't leave home without either. Those Malinois, I would love to have a Malinois. I don't have the temperament. I don't think I could train one. That's not a case of the dog being untrainable. That's a case of me being unable to train the dog, right? Because those Malinois, and guys, I love my German Shepherds, but as far as the most baddest dogs in the world, those Malinois, those are the baddest dogs in the world. They are so smart and so athletic. It's not even funny. It's not safe. It's not safe for a woman out here alone. Hello, Starla. That's okay. Being late's okay. You showed up. That's all that matters. You'll have to go back and watch the first half of it, the update part, on rerun. But getting back to the topic at hand, another thing that we have to do, if we're going to confront these people and try to start an open dialogue, we need to become educated. We need to understand why we believe what we believe, and we need to be able to have facts to back us up. And you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to become an expert in the Constitution or whatever, but you need to be able to speak at some level of factuality so that you can counter them. Because what'll happen is you'll say something and they'll throw some rhetoric out there, and you have to be able to shoot it down and poke holes in it. All right. And the whole reason why I say that we need to confront these people is because the one thing I saw with what happened to Charlie Kirk is the people call them the normies, people that are apolitical, not involved. They're more concerned about their football game or their reality TV show or whatever. This has shocked them, and it's given us an opportunity now that their eyes are open to compare and contrast ideologies. And we can't do that in chat rooms because let's face it, let's face it, guys, this chat is an echo chamber, right? We all nominally believe the same thing. And whenever somebody that doesn't agree with us pops in, they stick out like a sore thumb. All right. So we got to realize that these things are echo chambers. So we got to do it in real life, and we got to make them own their ideas openly in the public square. All right. And again, it's scary. It may open you up to some danger. That's going to be what's necessary. All right. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everybody is able to do this. There are people out there that don't engage with people, because of their personality. There are people that should not be doing it because of infirmity or age or something like that. But there's enough of us out there that are capable of doing it. It's just going to take courage. Why are you over there eating our profits? No, you don't. You've already tasted it. She's over there eating her profits while she's supposed to be rolling tamales. Starla says, this is all biblical. We went through a falling away from the church. Now comes a time of revival. Our best hope is to pray, believe in Jesus, live godly life, and have faith. Yes, that is part of the equation. That is probably the most important part. Meandering mentor found the live.
What?
Meandering mentor from Florida found our live.
Nice.
That's okay. He's got good insights. But this the open dialogue and a loving heart should not be a death sentence. Let's just put it that way. And as far as I'm concerned, if we cannot back the dialogue up with force, for lack of a better word, then it's going to be a one-way conversation. We're going to lose every single time. Gregory says it's impossible to have dialogue with someone that wants to off you. Kirk was doing that, and they killed him for that. You are absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. So, Chase Hughes, I don't know if you guys have ever listened to him. He talks about the psychology of influence and propaganda and stuff. He's got a really interesting channel. He did a live right before we went live Friday night. It was at 6:00 Central Standard Time, the only time zone that matters. But he was talking. One of the topics he went on about was the 4 levels of influence. And so those 4 levels are: you've got thought, which is the most malleable. That's the one that is easily changed. The next one is feelings, which again is very weak. You can change that very easily. That's why the media, they use the fear tactics. The third level is behavioral, and the fourth level is impulse, like your lizard brain type of stuff. Loud noise, you duck down, the stuff that you do involuntarily. So anyway, back to what Gregory was saying. You can't change these people's thoughts. You can't change these people's feelings. So the only thing you can do is change their behavior. And how do you change their behavior? How do you do that without violating the law? All right. You have to control the situation. You have to control the situation and make it so there are times that they find out that them being violent will not be tolerated and is not an answer that will have a good outcome for them. There's a reason why Antifa did not go riot in small towns across the country, because people in small towns would not put up with it. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, they found out there was going to be an Antifa riot or an Antifa march in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and every single person with an AR for about 50 miles showed up on Saturday and were patrolling the streets of Coeur d'Alene. That Saturday, there's actually videos of it out there. That Saturday, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho was probably the safest place in the entire country because there were patriots out there, armed, openly carrying and armed, ready to stop any shenanigans. Right. In fact, the police caught the Antifa people and told them it was in their best interest not to go to downtown Coeur d'Alene. So they went out on the outskirts of town, and about 20 of them. Yeah, about 20 of them had a little get together in the parking lot of the Cracker Barrel out by the highway. And that I saw it happen. I saw it happen in our hometown. Antifa, the word got out on social media in Kansas City that Antifa was going to, or was it Black? No, it was Antifa and Black Lives. They were going to come down to Pleasant Hill, Missouri on a Saturday. And I was kind of curious about what was going on. I grabbed my kit and my gun and I threw it in the car. I did not put it on, but I drove up into town and there were three big trucks full of people, probably about 30 people between all three trucks, driving up and down 7 Highway with American flags and visible firearms. And surprise, surprise, they did the Black Bloc and Black Lives Matter did not show up in our town. Just I'm kind of shocked that it works like that. So yeah, so we have to stand up to them. Okay, hang on a second. Let me go back up. I'm missing some comments. Bonnie says he was murdered because he was effective at moving hearts and minds of American youth away from the indoctrination and towards biblical principles. Absolutely. That was that I did that short. That's the unpardonable sin is deprogramming and getting people away. Let's see. Starla's got a question. Okay. Do you think it was a conflict of interest for Kash Patel to go investigate this murder since he said Charlie was a personal friend? Democrat senators say it was. First off, don't give a crap what Democrat senators say because they're all a bunch of liars and hypocrites. Number two, Kash Patel's in a position where his job is to investigate things. If you think Kash Patel is going out and doing the actual investigation, then there's a problem there because Kash Patel is not doing the investigation. All right. The only reason why they want to do that is because they want him to recuse himself to make the whole process less effective, because you get the director out of the way, it becomes less effective, and they want to make Trump look bad. So that's the only reason why they said that. All right. Bonnie says, rules for radicals: make your enemy live by their own rules. Yes. Now the karma of cancel culture has come from. Okay, Bonnie, I actually made a short on this today. I haven't edited it and posted, but I'm going to give you guys a little preview. So people should be canceled. All right. The people should be held accountable for what they say and the ideas they put forth. All right. You should be held accountable for it. All right. The bar for that should be set extremely high. All right. And it's not, you can call it cancel culture, or it's more aptly called holding people accountable. Right. The problem arises that these people cannot differentiate between somebody that disagrees with them politically and somebody that is applauding and advocating the assassination of their political opponents or physical violence against political opponents. These are two totally separate things. What's happening to these people is not cancel culture. This is them being held accountable for what they say and what they do. Right. And like I said, it's a good thing. You know, if you have a company, you want a pedophile at your company talking about how good it is and how it needs to be normalized. No, you don't. There's discernment there. That's the huge thing. A huge thing that this country has lost, in my opinion, is the ability to discern. You know, because the radical left, the liberal ideology gets these people that think that they want to be nice people. They do not want to be told that they're bad people, and so they're told you have to be inclusive and you have to be accepting of this stuff. And in doing so, they're so, I don't want to say brainwashed isn't, they're so desperate to fit in that they start accepting all kinds of thoughts and all kinds of ideas and all kinds of speech that's antithetical to a healthy and functioning society, right? They instead of putting people in their place, telling people, no, it is not all right for grown adults to do that with kids. That is not right. They go, oh, well, we have to be accepting of it. We have to be inclusive. No, we don't. And we shouldn't. And that's where we differ from the left. The left doesn't like, the left wants to cancel people because we disagree with them ideologically and on moral and other issues, right? They want to cancel us. They have no desire to live side by side with us. They want to control everything that we do, and they want to force their subjective view of the world on us as objective truth. It goes from all the way from the top all the way down to pronouns and stuff like that. The morality and equity are not shared values. What I feel is moral and equitable is not the same as what you feel it is, and it's not the same as what the third person feels. Now, we might be able to come to a consensus on it, but it's still an individual value, and they put that out there as a group value that everybody in the group must believe in this, right? So, we've got a very, very, very complex problem in front of us, and it's going to take a lot of work. But the first step in taking care of a problem is identifying it, right? And we've still got a bunch of people in this country that are operating on a September 9th mentality instead of a September 10th mentality, right? They don't recognize the threat. They still think that things are the same as they were before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And there's another thing. If you ever hear me say that he was murdered, I need you to correct me. I need you to hold me accountable. He was not murdered. He was assassinated. All right. There's a definitional difference there. All right. Murder can entail a lot of things like randomness and maybe passion and assassination. This was an attempt to kill a political opponent and to terrorize a group of people into being quiet and doing what you want them to do. That's what this was. That's why this was an assassination. Yes, it's going to go down. It's going to go down as a homicide on the death certificate. And same thing happens. Same thing happens with assisted suicide. It goes down as a homicide. Suicide goes down. So there's, and we need to, this is another thing we need to be clear on terminology. Let's see. Lynn says no longer pedophile. That is bad. Now it's youth attracted and other pedophiles. They're PDO files. All right. And there's nothing normal about them. I know what you're saying, Lynn. Absolutely. The sarcasm is not lost on me. Let's see. Anti says discernment has been gone from America since the end of the Great Depression. I don't know. I don't know if I'd go that far back. It's been in decline for a very, very long time. And one of the positive things, I don't know if you guys heard this. All across the world, there's been a resurgence in the Western world of Christian beliefs because of what happened to Charlie Kirk. That is a good thing. And then, I saw I don't remember who it was, some commentator on YouTube had a video of some lefty going, the good thing about this is it's just not going to matter. He's gone and nothing's going to come of it. And that's a good thing. A bad person's gone. Yeah, nothing's going to come of it. So Turning Point USA was looking at getting 2,300 chapters in high schools. I don't remember what they call the high school version of Turning Point, but there's they were looking at getting 2,300 chapters across the country. They've got 31,000 applications. That this event on the 10th is going to go down in history as one of the pivotal and galvanizing points in American history, whether the left likes it or not. They'll do everything they can to rewrite history and change it and make it so it wasn't. But the simple fact is, it is. Meandering mentor. Yes, words matter. That's why the left keeps inventing new words and trying to change definitions. Absolutely. And there's another thing. They don't get to do that anymore. They don't get to redefine marriage. They don't get to redefine vaccine. They don't get to redefine a whole slew of stuff that they've taken over. Would you hush up? You're going to go outside. Saw some gatherings across the world, almost unreal. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know. But let's not let this go to waste. If we sit back and let somebody else do the heavy lifting in this, it's going to go to waste because there won't be enough people doing the heavy lifting. So we all need to do a little bit of lifting on this. Guys, if there's any call to action this week, that's what it is. Get involved. Be out there and don't let them take over the public square like they have in the past. You know, we were talking about it. You know, I don't know why. I don't know why more business owners during the riots, for the Antifa riots, were not standing out there with guns, protecting their businesses. You know, there's a video of a guy and his nephews. It's a pizza parlor. I don't remember where the pizza parlor was, but they were out there confronting the Antifa. That the Antifa had broken all the windows up and down this block, and they were getting ready to do the Pizza Hut or the pizza joint. And these guys stepped out with guns and bats and stuff. And the Antifa people started yelling at him, you know, well, your business is more important than our lives. And the guy looked at him and said, yes. He said, find out what's going to happen. Okay, it's Turning Point USA High School. Okay. It's not very, I thought it was more imaginative than that. TP USA HS, is that what they called it? But, you know, but that guy stood out there and refused to let him do what they were doing to everybody else. And his place of business was the only business on the block that didn't get destroyed. Primal addict dies of an overdose. They blame the cops and riot. Oh yeah. They blame that they will kill a good man, and we pray, and we're not the same. Absolutely. And we need to show them that we're not the same. Right? We do need to pray. We do need to have open dialogue, but we need to also be able to defend ourselves whenever they get violent, and they will get violent. That genie's out of the bottle, people. There's no, actually, you know what it's like? I was trying to tell somebody about this. You know what it's like? It's a tube of toothpaste, and they've been squeezing it. They've been, the leftist violence has been squeezing this tube of toothpaste, and they finally squeezed it so hard that the cap came off, and all the toothpaste sprayed across the room. And good luck putting that back. It's going to be a hard, messy job for everybody. And we just have to be able to do it. We have to be ready to do it. All right, guys, listen, we're getting up towards an hour and hour and 30 minutes. I did not talk about any did not talk about what's going on in as far as things that you can do to help the channel. Again, September is Preparedness Month, and Jace is having all kinds of sales. They've got the buy one get one for the Jace cases. They've got free $50 off, basic 49 something off on $100 purchases, or 40% off on $100 purchases. And anyway, go to their website. Use the QRC code right there. Go to their website. Look what they got. The Jace case, you can get the antibiotics. They will board certified physicians or pharmacists will get you the antibiotics you want. Same thing with the prescription stuff. They board certified doctors will write the prescription and get you a year supply. That's what I use. I'm still waiting. Got to get the money together because but it says it costs like almost $200, a little bit over $200 for me. But that saved me about 40% on my meds when I buy it like that, and it gives me a year supply. All right. What else we got going on, man? What else? Anything else, Angela? Festivals. Hope to see you guys, some of y'all at Midwest Preparedness, and hope to see some of y'all at Self-Reliance Festival. We'll have another couple of lives between now and then, so we can remind people. But at the end of the day, guys, I need you to go out, and I need you guys to live a lifetime free. Take care.
Do you ever think about living in a world where we don't have access to modern medicine anymore?
Infections just aren't going to heal themselves. They're just not going to magically get fixed.
These medications will become life-saving for you and the people you care about. And it's all done online through the Jace Medical portal.
This kit right here, it's called the Jace case.
Jace Medical, they can supply you with emergency antibiotics.
If somebody gets really sick, that might be the only thing that can save their life.
And it's full of the top 5 antibiotics that we would need in an emergency situation.
It's an actual doctor that's prescribing you to this. It can be tailored for you specifically.
Getting our Jace case was super simple. We just went on their website, filled out a short form. It was reviewed by a board certified physician. And then he wrote the prescription and mailed this to us from a real pharmacy.
This is a great addition to your medical kit.